So what are some simple substitutions that we could do that would be helpful for ED?
I think sugar is going to be the #1 thing that we should try to substitute.
Do I have to be cutting out sugar entirely? Can it be small change? Can it be just a little less?
It can definitely be small changes, and I feel like that's where a lot of people should start and have to start so you don't feel really overwhelmed. So again, that's just maybe doing one sweet once a week instead of doing it every day. Or maybe that is, if you do it every day, well, let's change a sweet to, instead of something refined, maybe like a banana. So something that's sweet, but it's more of a whole food form. If you do want a sweet, the best one is gonna be like a dark chocolate.
Okay.
Something
Oh, that's good. I like-
80% or higher. And so that actually has polyphenols that actually helps that nitric oxide I was talking about. So
good.
dark chocolate you should enjoy.
Is there a difference between that, like sugar in the raw and refined sugar?
It's all the same.
It all
All right,
processes
okay.
the same.
It's all processes the same because it's sugar.
I like what you're asking because I feel like a little bit at a time is easier for me. If I make a dramatic change, then I usually, that fails. And then I beat myself up. So if I have like a little bit of sugar one day or one time of the day versus 3 times in the day, then I feel
I did that a while ago.
better.
I switched to like 1 spoon of sugar in my coffee instead of 2.
That's a great thing too. And we live in a society that has so much options. So 20 years ago, if we were talking, I'd be like, okay, you might be a little SOL, but nowadays we have so much available to us. So instead of regular Bluebell ice cream, for an example, there's an ice cream so delicious and it's made with cashew milk and there is some sugar, but it's like a healthier alternative. It's cleaner ingredients. So if you had to like choose something, there's always a better option. There's gluten-free donuts and like muffins, and they're cleaner ingredients. They're made with almond flour and more of a non-processed sugar, still sugar, but you can really enjoy it, but not feel as like guilty of just like, okay, this is really refined and processed.
Right. Do the stevias and all those process the same as normal sugar or?
No, it's not sugar actually at all. And I love stevia. And the best stevia is like a green leaf stevia. So that's a great one, along with like monk fruit extract. That's something that's actually really natural coming from monk fruit, but it like sweetens it up. So if you are missing a little bit of sweet in your coffee, you can put a little bit in. Another thing, like we talked about, like with the food pyramid, and having like a very grain heavy diet, very carb heavy diet, something that you can do is easily substitute for our leafy greens, whether that's romaine or spinach or arugula or collards. Any of the leafy greens can really help as more of a base of having it as your meal. And another thing in smoothies are a great option to hide things if by chance you don't like spinach and you just want to hide it in. But another thing, while it's not very specific to ED, it's a great way to reduce the sugar, is when we make smoothies, we want to make like a lot of, bananas and really load it up with fruits, which is great because fruits do have nutritional content, but we can also substitute it if you're looking for a thicker flavor. Take out a little bit of the banana, less sugar, and add frozen cauliflower or even an avocado, and that helps make it creamy and really delicious.
That's a good idea.
I feel like though I could eat greens all day long, or greens all day long, and I'm still hungry. I feel like I'm never filled up unless I have some kind of starch or a grain or something. Is there a trick to, is that just because I'm eating starches and grains all the time and I need to cut them out and be less addicted to them, or?
No, that's a great question. I think when people bring in leafy greens, they forget to add the fats with it. So they forget to use the olive oil or cooking it in like coconut oil. And so with just greens, while it does have lots of fiber, it's not as satiating. So you make sure you want to have the fats in it.
Okay.
So in a smoothie, what kind of fats would we put in that? I know you said avocado.
Avocado is my favorite, but you can also do, some coconut oil or MCT oil, flax seeds, chia seeds, any type of nut butters like almond butter or cashew butter. All those are really good fats that you can add pretty easy into your smoothie and really makes it delicious too.
Oh, good.
I love that you told me though about leafy greens, and even though you're trying to switch from maybe like a carb heavy diet and making those tweaks of adding like a little bit of olive oil to make it more satiating, but with ED, having more leafy greens is gonna promote that blood flow. So that's a great job, and you should give yourself a pat on the back for it.
Nice.
Change is difficult for everybody, especially when it comes to diet. Diet's kind of like changing religion a bit. So sometimes you can do some easy wins. Cutting out soda can be hard for some people. If you're drinking 6 sodas a day, cut it down to 3 for a week, and then cut it down for 2 for a week, then cut it down to 1 and see if you can survive without your soda. If you're eating lots of sandwiches, See if you can replace your sandwiches with maybe a salad, or maybe have your juicy burger with cheese and onions and stuff wrapped in lettuce. A lot of places offer that option. One of the things I like to do is substitute cauliflower rice for my carbohydrate for a meal. My mother-in-law is Indian, and she even now substitutes rice and roti and naan with cauliflower rice. And here we are, really able to decrease the amount of carbs and sugars that we're taking in by a good substitution like that. And the great thing about cauliflower rice, it can absorb a lot of different sauces. And now you'll see out there in the market with the people eating healthy and low carb, they have cauliflower-based pizzas, cauliflower-based potato chips, and I guess you can't really call them potato chips, but different kind of chips and crackers and things like that. I have this sugar craving at times, and I like chocolate. So one of the things I do is substitute, you know, something that's really sugary, like a really sugary candy bar, with some of these nut bars that only have 5 grams of sugar as opposed to 21 grams of sugar. And that's a great way to, when you're stressed and you're craving something a little bit sweet, eat something healthier with nuts and maybe with some chocolate in it. Coffee can help kind of crave off some of the hunger feelings at times. So when I'm intermittent fasting, I just drink black coffee. And caffeine can also help lipolysis or burn fat too when you're fasting. So that's a good way to burn fat. I'm about 40 pounds down. I'm trying to get a 6-pack right now. I've never had a 6-pack in my whole life, but you know, I'm 44, I'm trying to get there.